Good morning and happy Self-Care Sunday to all my beautiful listeners. It is your host, Kimberly, coming back for another hot topic episode. Today's episode is going to be talking about the beauty and the teachings and lessons of pouring into ourselves. And this goes beyond self-care. I want to talk energy. I want to talk intention with how we treat ourselves. Not only how we treat ourselves, but how we operate on a day-to-day and our perception when it comes to honoring ourselves through every aspect of life. So, and sorry if you guys hear something in the background. There's this person working on their car outside. You know, life is life. Life is happening all around us, so I don't feel the need for things to be absolutely perfect. So I think we all have kind of understood that about me. But so lately, if you guys have been following my posts on Instagram, I have been going through a period of intentional solitude, which has been a time where I have vowed to not date and to have more alone time to reflect over my life and just my choices, and to focus on myself and to intentionally pour into the things that pour back into me. It has come with a lot of shifts and a lot of change. I have had to cut off many connections. I feel like the last quarter of this year, when I tell you, I feel like God put their hand in my life and did a complete mix and cleaned out every energy that did not need to be there. Because I kid you not, the way it all happened, the way everything just the way everything went, the way how I didn't even have to do anything, the way things were being revealed, the way masks were falling, the way intentions were being revealed, the way lies were being revealed, like the way it all happened, I low-key was feeling like, dang, like, am I under attack right now? But I was like, no, because I made my birthday so intentional, and my only request was that every energy that did not need to be there was to be cleared. And I knew that I was walking into this new era of my life, and I was not going to be focusing on things that just did not need to be in my space, did not need to be in my energy, things that did not value me, places and people that I did not feel valued by or seen or heard by, or connections that I just didn't feel aligned with me and didn't make me feel good. I completely got rid of, or they completely fell off on their own, which I'm so eternally grateful for, because, you know, I feel like during those situations when you're in the mix of something, you can't really see. It's kind of like you're standing in the midst of fog. You can't really see what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's going on around you. You just know you're in a situation, right? And they always say hindsight is 20/20, but when you get out of that and you can look back and you can clearly see what's going on, what was going on, I understand now the amount of clarity I have received just from the process of knowing throughout everything, throughout every shift, throughout every change, my main goal, my main focus was making sure I was pouring into me, and that I was only pouring into people, places, and situations that poured back into me, period. That was just the motto. That is the motto. That is the motto. The way that quickly, and I mean the way that quickly rearranged my whole life was crazy. And I was meditating on this quote because I was watching a podcast of Good Moms, Bad Choices, which I love that podcast, by the way. Hadia Barbell had featured on an episode talking about wild women and just, you know, the lifestyle and just how people perceive you and how society perceives you and how lovers can perceive you and how sometimes it could be hard to feel seen and feel accepted because of how free you are. Not even in regards to how people think, just in your mind, just your spirituality, how you exist, us, you know, like people who are in tune spiritually and they have a different way of living and they walk to the beat of their own drum. You know what I mean? And so she was talking about being in a state of transition and just learning how to surrender to the change, right? And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And she spoke about this mantra. Let me go to what she said because it was so beautiful. Let me see. It's all in my notes, y'all. So here we go. She called it a transitional prayer. So she said, I am open to my next level of elevation, no matter how it may come or who it may come through. I surrender. I'm going to say that again. I am open to my next level of elevation, no matter how it may come or who it may come through. I surrender. How beautiful is that? You guys, when she said that, it's like the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I was like, wow, I needed to hear this because not only am I going through a transition where sometimes when you go through transitions where you just feel like everything and everyone around you is just shifting and changing, and you're really the smoke is clearing, baby. The smoke is clearing. And with some people, they had you fooled. You thought you knew some people, and the mask fell off, and you were like, wow. Okay, I had that happen a lot this year. Especially within the last 4 months. So when you're so confident that you know how to choose people and you know how to, the truth of the matter is, people can play a good game. People can play in your face. People can literally be someone else. But one thing I want to state right now is my intuition always kept me up to game. I want to speak about something very candidly right now, because I want someone to learn from my situation. I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through. You know what I'm saying? I always, and with anybody, if I have a lesson or went through something in life that can prevent someone else from having to experience the things that I did, I'm gonna speak my truth, right? I was dating someone this year. I have 2 people that I was dating this year who my body and my energy just could not feel comfortable around. I'm talking, could not sleep when we were next to each other, was always waking up, was never comfortable. My spirit just never felt right. There was just something always off. You know, their energy never really matched the situation. It was really odd. And looking back on it, they had very similar spirits in regards to just how they carried themselves, in regards to just how they moved and how they communicated, and just how they like to be perceived by people versus how they actually were. I'm actually quite disgusted talking about it, but I'm disgusted because I had so many intuitive dreams, intuitive messages that I was receiving about both of these individuals, which I ignored. And lo and behold, they're not here no more. They're not here no more. And that's solely on my accord, because if I don't listen before, I'm going to listen eventually. You know what I'm saying? I think my issue is I was gaslighting my intuition so much to the point that I really prolonged my own suffering, or I prolonged my own confusion, or prolonged being in a situation when I had the answers. Y'all, when I tell you, as a spiritually gifted woman, dating is something. Dating is something, y'all. Dating is something. I'm gonna be very real with y'all. I don't know if it's because I've been connected with my ancestors since very young, and I've been connected to spirit since very young, that I get dreams and signs and messages when dating someone very quickly before I even have any concrete proof of anything. The way that God and my ancestors will align me to find something out, or will align me to see something, even like at the perfect time, or to sense something intuitively and to take mental note. When I tell y'all the way the answers come to me without having to seek them, it's to the point I was like, nah, there is no way. Like, you're not right all the time, Kim. Like, you don't, like, come on, you're human. You know what I'm saying? You blessed with some goddess energy. You know what I'm saying? But you're human, and humans are, you know, we make mistakes. We misjudge situations. We misjudge people. You know, but I'm really starting to understand. I need to give myself more credit, because I have been intuitive since a very young girl. I've been spiritually gifted since I was very, very young. I have spiritually gifted aunties, mothers. You know what I'm saying? So I really learned this year how important it is for me, who has a gift, to not gaslight myself. When I see something, when I sense something, it's never a coincidence. Because when I tell y'all the answers, when I tell y'all I see stuff without having to look for it, I mean things will be just brought to me in physical form, and I'll just see something that I would rather have not seen. Or things will just, you know what I'm saying? I get revealed any kind of things that are being held back to me intuitively from people. And at one point I really hated that, because it was like, damn, can I live in my delusion? Can I live in my, you know, but that's really just the ego talking. Who wants to continuously feel like they're being not fooled, because you're not being fooled, because you're being revealed, but just realizing like the people before you or situations that you have put yourself in are just not the best for you. You feel like you know how to choose the best for yourself. And then you realize like, oh wait, I need to tweak a little bit. I need to learn, you know, how to choose better people. I need to learn how to watch for better signs and red flags and things like that. So all in all, I say all of this to say, in the art of choosing myself, I also had to learn to stop doubting myself. And I had to learn to let my intuition lead me. Because something for sure that I want to emphasize is the fact that you may not understand in the midst of a situation why your nervous system is feeling off, why your stomach is turning, why you can't feel comfortable around a person, why your energy doesn't feel settled around a person, why you feel these ways around people, why you sense this energy when you look into their eyes, why you can't understand, but you can peep that something is off, right? Even if you don't have any concrete evidence, I need you to understand your intuition is way smarter. Your body is way smarter than you can fathom. They know how to pick up on things. They know how to sense things that you cannot see. There are a lot of things that you can't see beyond your physical eye. There are things that are going on behind your back. There are things that are going on when they are not around you. There are things that are going on. You don't know how these people are speaking about you. You don't know how these people are explaining you to other people. You don't know how these people, or the intentions these people actually have with you. You know, like, let's be candid, let's be honest. You really don't. The only way you really know that is through being with someone and kind of learning their energy and learning who they are as a person. But even then, you have to be aware that people wear masks. You know what I'm saying? And those masks do fall off. They fall off a few times, actually. And it's up to you to realize if you need to be gracious, or if you need to realize that this is somebody showing their true colors and that you need to move accordingly. So whenever you notice like a huge shift in someone's energy towards you, or just a shift in how they act and everything like that, understand like that's a mask falling off. I'm not saying people don't have different aspects to themselves. I feel like it's different for someone to just shift in emotion and maybe act a different way, but not to the point where respect and their admiration and love for you and et cetera, is completely just vanished. I feel like that's very narcissistic behavior, because if everything depends on your emotions, how you treat somebody, how you care about somebody, how you view somebody, just because they upset you, or just because they're not pleasing you at this moment, that's weird behavior. That just goes to show everything about you is conditional. And quite frankly, I don't like to deal with people like that. If the respect leaves just because you're in a mood, you're not of my tribe, and I do not want to be around with you. I don't want to deal with you. So, watch out for people like that. It's crazy when you really sit and examine people and the people who kind of operate certain ways with you. When you really examine and you really look over the connection, you're like, wow, my intuition was really telling me something like the whole time. But yeah, I say all this to say, because those situations were the situations that really, really woke me up and kind of let me know, one, you're not listening to yourself all the way. You do a great job of identifying, but you don't do a good job of implementing the wisdom when it comes to trusting what you're seeing about a person or a situation. And in a way, when you're not doing that, you're not choosing yourself. You're not trusting yourself. There are so many ways that you can put yourself as a second priority in ways that you may not think you are, but you are, And when you ignore your intuition, and when you just don't honor yourself and your needs and your values and things that you need for yourself, the kind of qualities that you need, the kind of characteristics you need in a person, etc., etc., when you're consistently just lowballing yourself, you're not choosing yourself. And quite frankly, your girl got tired. Your girl got tired of feeling like I was not choosing myself. Like, I didn't feel like these connections or these friendships were things that exemplified me choosing the best for myself. I was aware of the ways that I know how I deserve to be treated. I know how I deserve to be, praised and loved on and admired. I know the ways that I deserve to be. Sometimes you go through periods in your life where you just, I don't know what happens. I don't know if it's a period of just getting so caught up in wanting to feel a certain way that you can just forget what you are deserving of. I feel like we can all go through moments like that. But when God wakes you up, please stay up. Please stay awake. Because when I tell y'all the aftermath of just settling for something that you know is not pleasing to you, it's such a waste of time and a waste of energy. And one day, it may feel fine now, but one day you'll just wake up and be like, I really don't like this. This is not for me. I'd rather us all just be real with ourselves and intentionally isolate, or intentionally don't date, or intentionally be celibate until you find an energy that really complements you. And I don't mean just somebody that, y'all can relate on a few knowledgeable topics and the sex is good. No, I'm talking about a connection where you never feel the need to hide. Your guard never feels the need to be up. That person blesses you with radical honesty. That person is very honest with themselves, very self-aware with themselves. Doesn't have an ego that prevents them from self-checking. And isn't afraid to check you. And is okay with making changes and compromising in ways that is beneficial to the relationship, but not having to compromise who they are or themselves. You know what I mean? Just forming healthy habits for a connection. Things like that. I really pray for all of us to really connect with people, even relationships and friendships, that just see us. Literally see us. And don't project their hurt and their pain and their trauma onto us. I really hope we can find people like that, because hurt people really do try to hurt people. They really try to hurt people. And if you've experienced anyone trying to hurt you because you've chosen yourself, very candid message. If you have any people out there who were so hurt that you chose yourself, and that you chose your self-respect over their disrespect, and you chose your presence over their lack of presence, let me just say this. Keep doing it, B. Keep doing it. Keep choosing yourself. And let people stay mad for real. Like, let people stay in their inner hell, their inner torment. Please, leave people where they at. Do y'all hear me? Leave people where they are at. Because when I tell you this period of intentional solitude, when it really just showed me how powerful my energy is and where I put it, how my focus, if it's really aligned and undisturbed and undistracted. Do you know how powerful and how magnificent life has been since I have just been like, no, I have tunnel vision. And the way things have just unfolded for me, because I have not been distracted by energies that my intuition knew I should not be around, or energies that I know were not giving me what I really deserved and needed. Y'all, something magical happens when you really choose yourself. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like it's just been all hunky-dory. Like, I had my days where I was like, oh my God, girl, I feel lonely. Like, I don't have no lover. Child, I have my friends, thank God for community. But even if you don't have community right now, even if you do have community, you could still feel lonely. But I want to explain this. There's a difference between being lonely and being in solitude, but not enjoying it, right? And there was this quote I heard this girl saying, I cannot recall her name or her channel or anything, and I can't stand that. But she said, I think it was a preacher talking about it actually, and he said, when you are not in your purpose, being alone feels like hell. It feels like an inner torment. When you are in your purpose, being alone feels like paradise. You feel like you have the opportunity to just walk into the doors that God has placed before you for your life. You don't feel any pulls at your energy, any pulls at your heartstrings, any pulls at you as a person, because you're in your purpose. You're focused on what God has placed before you and placed in your heart and placed for you to do. You know what I'm saying? So I always encourage people, if you suffer from separation anxiety, codependency, if you're a serial dater and then you kind of realize like, wow, why do I do this? Why do I always feel a need to be in someone's face? Why do I always feel a need to just hop around from person to person? I really encourage you, take a period of solitude and celibacy. Take a period of that, and I promise you, it's not gonna feel good at first. Actually, it may feel good at first, and then you do it and you're like, wow, this seems boring, or this seems like yada yada. I promise you, stick it out, because you're gonna start to see the importance of being very selective. You're gonna start to see the importance of being very intentional with your energy and intentional with your time. And then you're going to realize how much time you have not been giving yourself. You're going to realize how much you have not been able to self-reflect because of how distracted you are. Because if we really think about it, in our alone time, when we're constantly dealing with others and having so much on our plates, and we're not sitting across any time for ourselves, when we finally get that time, the reason why it can feel so uncomfortable is because it is something that you have not been doing. Anything that's uncomfortable is meaning it's something, it could be something fairly new or something that you're just not used to. And always question yourself, like, why does this feel uncomfortable? And quite frankly, being in solitude should not feel uncomfortable. It should just feel like solitude. And a lot of beauty comes in that time. I feel like that's when God can really speak to you. God can really move in your life. You can really see situations and see things as you need to. You can really reflect on the energy. And during this period of intentional solitude, one of the gifts I feel like I have been able that I have been given. I do feel you receive gifts when you go into intentional solitude. I feel like it's a space that you go into that's specifically designed for you. And when you go into that space, I feel like you do walk out with gifts. And I feel like one of the gifts that I have been given was quickly being able to discern energies. And so when I was, with my own energy a lot, I was able to quickly discern any shifts in my energy and pay attention to it and be like, I'm not feeling it. When you experience inner peace and then you kind of realize when your peace is kind of draining away, you quickly learn that, okay, this is a situation that isn't honoring me. It's kind of like you go into a space where your cup is being filled and then you go outside or whatever, you go out with people or just having other people in your life. When you bring people in and you realize, my cup is draining and I don't feel like this person is pouring into it, and I don't feel fulfilled, I don't feel nourished here. My spirit doesn't feel at ease. When you get used to your peace and you get used to that feeling of being full, it's so easy for you to recognize things that don't bring you that feeling because you get used to being filled. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, you learn that a lot of feelings that you crave to be given to you by other people, you realize how easy it is to get that to yourself. And you realize how dependent you are on others. And then you kind of realize how good you feel with certain energies or just certain feelings. And you realize the way that people have given you a hard time to give you that, or how people just cannot do that or give you that. You kind of got to get rid of them, as you see fit. I think one of the main things for me was realizing how lovely and how at ease I can make myself feel just because, just by doing simple things that I know I like for myself. And then I look back over certain people in my life and I'm just like, wow, I really was accepting this energy that just was not even trying to learn me or even taking the time to learn me and to really please me in regards to just making me feel admired, making me feel cared about, making me feel seen or heard, etc. When you realize how easy it actually is if someone actually truly cares and actually wants to do that, you just realize, and it doesn't have to be from the effects of you just dating a better person or being with better people. It's just, you just realize I'm not a difficult person. And quite frankly, I was just really dating or being around energies that just were not for me. And yeah, thank God for growth. Thank God for reflection. Thank God for healing. Thank God for growth. But child, when you just look over that and you just realize when you're in solitude how much you really settled, and you just realize the ways that you really were playing small. You were really playing with yourself for real. And some of it may piss you off. Some of it may be like, wow, what the F, but it's all a part of growth. It's all a part of life. And you have to be gracious with yourself. So that's what I wanted to say today. This is my reflection of, intentional solitude. And I'm currently shuffling through a deck of cards. It's called the Power Thought Cards by Louise Hay. It's affirmations. And I want to pick one for us. So the card I have is every thought I think is creating my future. It says, the universe totally supports every thought I choose to think and believe. I have unlimited choices about what I think. I choose balance, harmony, and peace, and I express it in my life. And I'm going to choose one more. I see clearly. It says, I willingly forgive. I breathe love into my vision, and I see with compassion and understanding. My clear insight is reflected in my outer sight. I hear that. I hear that. Did that not just, that definitely coincided with what we're talking about today. Woo! Well, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. Hope you guys are choosing yourselves. Hope you guys are pouring into yourselves. And keep choosing yourself, please. Please. Do it in such an unashamed way. Honor yourself. Speak up for yourself. And love on yourself. And that is all, my beauties. And I will see you guys next Sunday. Peace.